Hello everybody and welcome to the cathedral, where I am talking right now and in the future about things that I find interesting, talk about my feelings, my thoughts about the upcoming game Diablo 3. This video will be about the skills of the barbarian. There is already one of these out there on the internet from me actually. But I didn't really like it. I recorded it yesterday. It was too compact. I didn't get everything into it, so I will probably split it in this one into 2 or 3 parts. Actually just did one recording and it didn't really work out that good, so because, well, it didn't capture my screen. So hopefully this will work better. And let's just dive into this one. And if you find anything that you do not like, you want to see more of or see less of, please just let me know. Just give me a comment, and if you like it, please press the thumbs up button. So let's move into things here. Let's get on top of things, and of course at level 1 you got 2 skills as barbarian. When you begin the game, you got Bash, it is the Fury generator, and you got a Threatening Shout, which is the Fury spender. Very simple in the beginning. You just bash and threaten people and they will die. Bash is simple attack. You attack one target, it takes damage, and you might knock them back. But that is not everything it does. Later on in the game, I do not know if runes are in the beta yet, but in the full game there will be runes. You can actually alter it quite heavily. And you have the alabaster runes, crimson runes, golden, indigo, and finally obsidian. These are the 5 runes. You can find them from skill 1 and up to skill 7. Well, level 1 to level 7, that is. Everything on this site is based on a level 60 character with level 7 runes, so it is as good as it gets. So, well, let's dive into Bash. That is the first skill. And I think they actually, I don't know if the skill changes name or if just effect, but well, never mind. Doesn't really matter, you will still, you know, get some kind of change out of it. Pulverize, that is the first one. What does it do? Instead of hitting one target, you will create a shockwave that hits everything in a line for 80% weapon damage, so it will deal less damage but to more targets. I think that is a skill I would go for, well, a rune that I would go for quite early. I'm not that interested in skills that just attack one target for some damage and that's it. I'm not really pleased with that, so this one I like. Let's go here. Onslaught. Add 7 reverberation. I'm not really sure what that is, actually. But that is what you get. And if someone knows, please comment, tell me. Well, you get that from that, so it might be good. I cannot really comment that right now. Unleashed, you get more Fury. Fury is good. Fury is used to deal even more damage. It is probably kind of useful, but it's not that fun to you. Well, I'm getting more Fury. It's not that you really feel that the attack per se is getting any better. This one I like. Punish. You stack this up 8 times, you get 80% more damage. And if this is across the board, if you get 80% damage, no matter what you use within these 5 seconds, it is good. Really good. And finally, we have Clobber. You get stun. Probably good, but not as fun. I do not like this. I prefer Punish or Pulverize here. Maybe Onslaught. I have no idea. So, let's move on. We go to Threatening Shout. It is the first spend you get. And, well, you shout and reduce the damage the enemies deal by 50%, so that it is quite a lot. But of course, it's not that fun, but you can alter this one as well as you can with all different skills. Grim Harvest, the first one here. You severely demoralizes the enemies, and they might flee instead of just dealing less damage. It's quite nice in a tough situation, but kind of fun as well. I'm not really digging it. Demoralize, you taunt enemies. This one I really like. If you're a beefy barbarian, you can use this, taunt the enemies, and let the rest of your party do the damage. If you prefer to play a bit more tanky, there are no real tanks, but tank-like at least, as good as it gets in this game. This one also decreases their attack speed, so kinda good, real good, but not that fun. And in Digo you will actually slow them instead, so you can kite them. And finally Terrify, this one I really dig. They have chance to drop additional loot. I really dig this skill. If I was to use a threatening shout, this is the one I would use. No question about that one. Definitely. Because I love loot. Of course, I'm looking forward to everything in Diablo 3. I really enjoy everything I've seen so far. But finding loot is one of the most exciting things in these kind of games. And if you know, I've been playing World of Warcraft some, there you kinda know, well, this boss will drop either a hammer, a sword, a shield, an armor, or a pair of gloves. And you know that. So it's not that thrill. In Diablo, everything can drop, almost anything. Of course, in the lower levels you will not find high tier gear. But once you're up there, every mob has a potential of dropping something good. And of course, that Terrify increases that chance. That is why I like it. Moving on. Almost gone 7 minutes on 2 skills. So this might be a 3-part. No doubt about that. Let's go to Hammer of the Ancients. Also a spender, the second one you get. And this actually deals damage in a line in front of you. I'm not sure how far it reaches. But if you have multiple enemies in your face, just use this and they will take damage. And an increased chance to actually land a crit as well. With Thunderstrike, you actually get some... No, that's not the one. Sorry, Thunderstrike. If you land a critical hit. No. Let's do it one more time. When you kill enemies with Hammer of the Ancient, enemies around that target that dies will be stunned. Will have chance to be stunned at least. So it's kinda decent. Smash. You just deal more damage from a smaller area. Birthright. Here we go, once again. 55% chance to cause enemies to drop treasure or health globes. We're back again. You heard the rant about Terrify earlier. Same thing about this one. I love loot. Rolling Thunder. You create a shockwave instead. I'm not really sure how it differs. Maybe it has a greater range or something like that. I hope so. If it does, it is kinda good, but not as good as Birthright. The Devil's Anvil. Finally, you will actually slow the enemies. You can kite once again and deal some more damage. Moving on to the next skill. Also a spender, so there's a lot of spenders. This one is called Battle Rage. Where you enter a rage. You got a buff, you will deal a 30% more damage and have your critical hit chance increased as well. Lost for 30 seconds, so do not have to use it as often, but it's good to keep up, I assume. So let's see, what can you do with this one? Bloodshed. While under effect, critical hits cause an explosion of blood, dealing 55% weapon damage. So you have a lot of crits and use this, you will deal extra AoE damage. I like that one. This one is probably very good, but not as fun. You just get more damage bonus. Quite a lot actually, so yeah, it's good, but not that fun, I think. And this one as well, probably good. You need Fury, it is good, but it's not that fun. Of course, if you have a lot of Fury, you can play with other skills as well, so yeah. Ferocity increases the duration when you get a crit, so that is good as well. But still not as fun, and I'm always looking for fun rather than good. I want to be good and really enjoy it, but I'm never going for the build where I'm as strong as possible, no matter the cost of, in the degrees of having fun. I will never compromise there. Finally, we go down to this one. Critical hits have a 20% chance to cause enemies to drop additional treasure or health globes. So we have 3 skills in a row here. Where did it go? Birthright. Some skills, there are 3 skills that will give you chance of additional loot. Early on, I'm kinda leaning towards that. Well, later on as well, but you know, later on you might actually have the need of dealing more damage and be able to stand against more attacks in order to not die. So yeah. Well, let's go on. We are on Cleave. It is a generator. You swing at one target, deal 120% weapon damage, and everything close within your range of that attack will take 60% weapon damage. The runes, the first one is when you slay anything with this, it will explode and deal damage to everything within 19 yards. So it is huge. Really, really huge. I assumed it sounds like that at least. Let's see, Broad Sweep increases the damage, so it just buffs it up. Probably very good, but not as fun. You just increases the numbers. Reaping Swing, you will get Fury, probably also quite good, but not as fun. You might want to go with a build, you know, where you're focusing on the spenders, and then these kind of skills will get really good. And finally, you draw enemies in, so everything in front of you, you just draw in, strike, you can hit them much easier. I like that one. If I'm playing a barbarian, I want to be in the face, I want to be close, and that is why I'm not liking Scattering Blast. When you get a crit, you might knock you will knock your enemies away from you, and it's kind of the opposite of what I prefer as a barbarian. Moving on, we go to Ignore Pain. You ignore pain. You reduce all damage with 65% for 5 seconds, so in a cooldown of 60 seconds, so you cannot use it that often, but it is good if you're ambushed or anything like that. So let's see, the first one, you gain Lifesteal. I think it's Lifesteal. It might be damage they deal to you, you get that as life, but I assume that it is when you deal damage you get life. Basically Lifesteal, and 40% is quite heavily. I'm thinking use this, and use a Whirlwind. You will not die no matter what, and we will come to Whirlwind later on, but not yet, because now we are on Contempt for Weakness. You will reflect damage, 65% of the ignored damage. I'm not in the mood of doing the math here on how much that would be in terms of percentage of the damage they actually deal in the beginning. Bravado, you knock enemies back when you use it. Great for survival. Probably very good actually. And I will take some damage as well. And you can use it a lot more often. And now I'm not sure, this might actually override the reduced damage taken. If it does that, I still like it. You will deal damage, you can have it as a damage dealer instead of surviving skill. But then it comes back to, I do prefer to not knock my enemies away, I want them in my face. Ironhide, increase the duration to 13 seconds, that is good. And finally Mob Rule, you share the buff with your party. So everybody gets 65% damage reduction, so you can actually save your friend if he's in trouble. Moving on to leap attack, this will be fast, I have 1 minute to do this. You leap and you attack and deal damage. Very simple, if you've been playing Diablo 2 you know how this works. The first one is that when you land you will stun your enemies you land on. Call of Ariat, you deal a shockwave that I think it means that you put a shockwave somewhere in front of you and everything between you and that will just be pushed towards you. I'm not sure on that one though. Iron Impact, you get armor after landing. Toppling Impact, let's see, they will fly around instead and deal damage. And finally Launch, when you jump away you will deal damage when leaving ground. So that is some of the first skills. Let's move on to the next part in a couple of seconds. Thank you and see you soon.